Now, I'd like to introduce our presenter. Sudhakar Kandanala has worked in the IT consulting and services industry for 25 years. He oversaw sales and operations functions for large technology service organizations, including DXC and Deloitte. He now owns Sliver Business Services, an IT consulting firm based in the Chicagoland area that helps small and medium businesses, both the startups and the scale-ups, develop robust processes around sales, marketing, and operations, and implements those systems so the businesses are set for growth from day one of their operations. Sudhakar has a college degree in mechanical engineering and a master's in business administration from Illinois State University. Sudhakar, you're on.
Thank you so much, Hannah, for the nice presentation. So let me share my screen and then I will get started. So hope you are able to see my screen.
Yes, we can see your screen.
Excellent. Thank you so much. I'll get started right away. Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for joining. I'm going to present on systems for startups. That's the topic. A new business starts with a business plan, many times with great enthusiasm and fanfare, but it seldom thinks about how to operationalize the business plan, what business processes and standard operating procedures to define and institutionalize. Without that clarity, business often falls for shiny objects meaning off-the-shelf software solutions around marketing, shopping cart, invoicing systems, which are only a part of the business operations. Or it picks up disjointed services which either have an overlap or leave gaps. The business owner ends up manually operating different parts of the business and thus remains inefficient and is unable to scale the business. So whether you are starting a new company, planning to build a new product or service in your company, or expanding business into a new market, you need a well-defined system for the overall business operations. Once again, good afternoon, everyone. For those who have joined late, I'm Sudhakar Kandanala, the founder of Sliver Business Services, an IT consulting and services company based in Aurora, Illinois. We help small and medium businesses, the startups and scale-ups, develop robust processes around sales, marketing, operations, etc., and implement those systems so the business are set for growth from day one. I've been part of the IT industry for more than 25 years. I have mechanical engineering and MBA from Illinois State University. Systems has been a big part of my career and business approach. So in this workshop, I will first break down a business into different parts and then bring all the parts together in different ways and explain what needs to be done to orchestrate the various parts in an automated fashion using technology. I will talk about key functions of any business, which you may already know if you have worked for a mid-sized company or an enterprise. But I will cover them as the starting point of our conversation. I have planned this presentation for businesses that have or plan to have a few employees and want to grow, but solopreneurs may also benefit from the conversation. So all startups need three things: an awesome idea, people to execute the idea, and funds to operate the business. The focus of the presentation would be on executing the idea or running operations of a business. Executing our operations becomes easy and efficient if we use systems. And to execute an idea, we need to first define processes. Processes generate records, and to operate the processes and enable records keeping, we need systems. Technology brings sophistication to systems like automation, data integrity, accessibility, intelligence, and that sophistication gives the business a competitive edge. Now, let me take a step back. What is startup again? For this workshop, I would define a startup as a new company or a new product or a new market for an existing product. This I already kind of mentioned earlier. And what is a system? A system is a set of processes unique to a business, which when executed, generates records for the business. There could be many other definitions of the system, but for this conversation, I would like to define a system this way: a set of processes unique to a business, which when executed, generates records for the business. Now, why systems? Let's think of an ideology, whether religious or secular. And you may notice that the ideology involves stories, symbols, and rituals. Stories, symbols, and rituals. Similarly, a business involves records that tell a story, logos or trademarks, which are the symbols to identify the business, and the processes, which are the rituals that you repeat at certain frequency. Stories, symbols, and rituals. The uniqueness of the processes coupled with business culture creates success and brand identity. Systems help business build an identity. The identity could be any quality that the business is known for. For example, McDonald's is known for its efficiency and consistency, how quickly it serves its customers. Its system knows when the customer would arrive so it could prepare its fryers. Its fries stays the same across the United States. No dispute about that. The Coca-Cola company is known for its marketing. Apple is known for its user interface. Walmart for its supply chain. Amazon for leveraging everything digital to its hilt. Tesla. We can go on. The point is, they all have a system or a set of systems that sets them apart. My goal today is to focus on systems that can be enabled by information technology, and that is within the reach of small businesses now. A business startup grows organically. It starts small. For technology, initially it would just have an office software, either Microsoft Office or Google Suite, and maybe some patchwork of applications to take care of some initial processes like website, shopping cart, payment processor, etc. However, these processes become cumbersome as the business grows, and that's the problem. Because the systems are not built to scale, processes are born on a whiteboard with sticky notes and get translated into some office applications or similar software application system. As the processes become complex and records proliferate, the systems become unwieldy. Then there are vendors with shiny objects we fall for all the time. Those shiny objects are nothing but a piece of process in a nice software wrapper. And then there is a sales pitch that goes along with those shiny objects. The sales pitch by the provider would be about a 10-step process, out of which the shiny object covers about 2 or 3 steps. But the audience that is listening to the sales pitch feels that 10 steps can be achieved magically without efforts by using the software. To elaborate, I would provide a couple of examples. Like someone may knock the door saying, hey, we can create an awesome lead magnet and host it for you. Our customers have generated tens of thousands of dollars using the lead magnet we developed. Or someone may say, they will create an awesome responsive website for you. My point is, a lead magnet is a lead magnet, or a responsive website is just a website. These shiny objects are nothing but the guide rails in a bowling lane or the training wheels of a bicycle. But like a race, business happens only when guide rails or training wheels are taken off. Don't get me wrong, these software solutions or shiny objects serve a purpose. You may need a responsive website or a sleek lead magnet to attract customers. But these are what I define as very narrow services. And there is a narrow service or a solution for almost every aspect of a business. A business owner or a startup cannot keep buying and managing these microservices. they need a strategy. So we need a strategy to run a business, to execute the business plan, to build and implement systems for the business, not buy shiny objects. So we got to start small, make it operational from day one of the launch of business, and add more systems as the business scales. I'll talk more about the solution in the coming slides, but first, I would like to talk about the different parts of a business. So a good system is one that helps jumpstart a business with integrated CRM, marketing, project management, customer support, digital communication processes, and sets the business for scalable growth. The more these processes are automated using information technology, with friction and interventions removed from the system, the smoother the business operations and the easier it is to scale the business. I will cover 3 to 4 business functions today and talk about how to look at these business functions from process or systems lens. First, sales and marketing. For marketing, get a system to build your presence, send prospects the right messages. From time to time, check whether you get good returns on your marketing budget. And for sales, give your sales team a structured and repeatable sales process to sell efficiently across channels that takes you from lead to cash. If you do not have a sales team and you are the salesperson for your business, that is okay, but you need a system for sales regardless. So now, what would a good marketing system include? It would include the ability to build and host website and landing pages, create custom forms to capture lead information, manage social media, send out surveys to collect feedback, automate marketing activities, analyze performance visually. And these are, last couple of them are advanced features. Even if your marketing system does not have everything, it's okay. It can still be a good system if you start with first 3 items on the slide and then add more to it. Now, what would a good sales system include? It would include the ability to scan business cards, basically building a CRM database, track sales pipeline, capture digital signature on contracts, create and send invoices, connect with customers on phone, chat, online meetings, etc. Here is a tip I would like to share. Instead of thinking of contacts or email marketing, Facebook, Google, think integrated CRM and digital marketing. Think process first and then technology. Don't let shiny objects define and drive your business requirements. Some of the tools needed for sales and marketing are CRM database, website, social media pages, unified communication tools, content creation tools, etc. The second key business function is operations and support. For operations, you need to develop processes to fulfill orders quickly, manage internal and customer-facing projects, and expand your business model. You may have to automate your unique processes by building custom apps using technology. For customer support, got to enable your support team to field support requests across channels, resolve problems quickly, and improve customer satisfaction. So what would a good operations system include? A good operation system would include the ability to manage projects, task boards, communicate with teams, manage subscriptions, log in for clients, develop custom apps integrations, provide business intelligence. Again, first 3 are perhaps the basic ones. Initially, we would need it. As we grow, we could add other more sophisticated processes in operations. Now, what would a good customer support system include? A good support system would include the ability to centralize support desk, communicate via email, chat, telephony, assist your customer remotely, and self-service using artificial intelligence. Again, that last one is advanced process. Don't need on the first day itself. Here is another tip. Do not think in terms of a desk phone, a cell phone, a Zoom account, or SMS or chat, etc. Think of a unified communications tool, which can integrate all the above seamlessly. Tools needed are project management tool, unified communication, service desk, digital file storage, and there are many more. Operations has many other tools that you need depending on what business you are into, what vertical you are into, and what you are, or who your customers are. The third function I would like to cover today are accounting and HR. So accounting and HR are two distinct functions. In the interest of time, for the scope of this presentation, I have combined them into one. Here you would need a set of processes to organize your finances, track payables, manage bills and expenses. And from HR standpoint, you need a set of processes to find new talent and empower employees. And a good accounting system would include the ability to create invoices, track receivables, manage payables and expenses, reconcile transactions, track time and mileage of your employees, particularly sales team. And a good HR system would include the ability to find talent, fill openings, onboard employees, create policies and training, track time, review performance of the employees. And tools needed could be books like QuickBooks, Xero. I use a different book system for my business. Payment processor, employee database, time tracker, payroll systems, collaboration tools, etc. But how do we do all this? According to Michael Gerber, author of the eMyth series, and I quote, "There are so many sophisticated solutions, and it will become more and more sophisticated and more software being created in our IT world, where everybody has a software solution to every problem. Unfortunately, the success of small businesses does not mirror the presumed success of that evolution of software solutions. That says small businesses are failing the very same rate today as they were 40 years ago." This was a quote from Michael Gerber. He says, small businesses are failing the very same rate today as they were 40 years ago. What it means is we need software, maybe a couple of shiny objects, but they must all be married to our systems. And systems are in your hands, the business owner. Till now, I talked about some of the key functions of a business, but talking about a business in terms of functions is so 20th century. We are now well into 21st century. So what I'm going to share now probably started more than 50 years ago in the name of business process reengineering that only the enterprises could afford and was taught in MBA schools. Small businesses do not think in those lines because they do not have the scale or bandwidth. However, in 21st century, especially this decade, a business of any size must embrace, must embrace this process thinking or systems thinking. And it is possible for a small business to apply systems thinking in their business because of the availability of new breed of software solutions. We just need to know how to orchestrate them. So here is the blueprint that I call systems for startups. We start a business or we incorporate a business and create a legal entity. The legal entity has to do the necessary paperwork every quarter, every year, until it is dissolved. This incorporate to dissolve could be seen as a master system within which all other business systems fit in. The next system is for the product or service of your business. It starts with a concept. You define, design, and develop the product or service, and then you launch it, concept to launch. You need raw material, tools, and services for your product and service. Some of these raw materials and tools you procure. Then you have to pay your vendors for the goods, services they provided. Procure to pay system. Now it's time to market what your business offers. The job for the marketing system is to generate leads. Marketing to lead system. A lead is just a lead. The lead needs to become interested. It needs to become an opportunity. Needs to become a date, if I can say so. The opportunity is not enough. You need to convince the customer to place the order for your offering. Once the customer has made the purchase or placed an order, you need to make sure they have paid for it. You have received the cash. This would be your lead to cash system. Now you have a customer. You need to sustain them. You need to fulfill the order. You have to stay engaged if it is a long-term contract. You need to make sure you get repeat business, renew the contract, retain them, sustain and retain. If the customer is a long-term customer and they have an issue, you need to give them the ability and tools to report this issue. You need to track and resolve the issue and report it back to your customer. Issue to resolve system. What about your employees? You need a system to find and hire the right talent. You need a system to onboard them, manage them, do their appraisal, and finally retire or exit them as the case may be. That is a hire to retire system. Last but not the least, your financial system. You receive cash for your sales. You make payments to your vendors. You pay salaries to your employees. You need a system to record all those transactions. You need to be able to maintain accounts and report them in the form of financial statements and tax returns. That's a record to report system. So this covers most of the systems for startup and scale-ups. Now, I broke down various functions of a business and brought those parts together as systems. Now, I will take it to another level. Can we look at the systems as collections? Can we humanize the system from the standpoint of individuals or groups or the stakeholders of business? If you see, the primary stakeholders of a business are customers, employees, vendors, investors, governments, society. I hope I did not miss anyone else. So in this limited time, I will only share how the collection looks like from the point of view of customers. I would call it customer experience. So customer experience is all the touch points a business has with the customer during the life cycle of the engagement. The systems involved in customer experience are, as you see highlighted on the slide. I will take these systems and map them to what we call customer experience blueprint in the next slide. Now, customer experience can be shown using this announce, attract, delight model. Announce, attract, delight. It starts with marketing, which is about announcing yourself to the target market and making them aware of your offering and generating leads. Once the lead is generated, it doesn't mean you have business, it's just a lead. We need to motivate them, attract them into our ecosystem, meaning the lead has to be nurtured and converted to an opportunity by your sales team. In case of large custom deals, an opportunity has to be negotiated, confirmed, and converted to an order. When the customer is in your ecosystem, that is, once the customer has placed the order, you need to fulfill the order, confirm acceptance, and take the payment, order to cash. If the customer has any issue during the engagement or the warranty period, you need to resolve them, serve them, delight them. And then you can ask them for feedback, testimonials, referrals, or even play golf with them, etc., as part of the post-sales activity. These are the ways you have touch points with the customers and which constitute customer experience. if we take a peek into these systems, this is how a typical customer experience blueprint with some components of the various systems would look like. So I have kind of provided some details of how this blueprint looks like. I could go into the details a bit more depending on the interest, but I would like to close the presentation by saying there is a hard way to run a business, then there is the smart way or the systems way. Thank you for being a wonderful audience. I'm your audience now. We'll take any questions. Over to Hannah.
Toma, do we have any questions?
We do have one question. Malika is asking, is Suit Dash a good business tool to start with?
Can you repeat the question, Tom?
Yes. Malika is asking, is Suit Dash a good business tool to start with?
I didn't get the name of the business. Suit
Dash.
Sorry, I didn't understand what that is. That on the how does it spelled?
SUITEDASH. Suit Dash. I sent the question in the chat.
Okay, Suit Dash. So actually, I don't know. I never heard of Suit Dash. So never heard of it. But if she can get in touch with one of the mentors, definitely we can look into it and answer it.
Thank you. There's another question from Karen. As an existing company with many systems, how do you suggest transitioning to an integrated one while operating? It feels overwhelming to change everything at once.
Mm-hmm. No, that's a very, very good question. And that's the challenge. When we are already running, when the car is already racing and we need to change the wheels, and that's very typical problem. So here is what my experience has been. We got to institutionalize a very good PMO office in such cases, project management office, which is tasked with defining the scope, budget, and timeline. Very good governance is required. This could be a technology challenge, transitioning from old process to new process, old technology to new technology. But in my experience, if you have a very good program management and governance or change management, for example, so to speak, then it makes it a lot easier. Or not easier, I would say it becomes manageable. Change happens that way. And another answer I would like to provide is find a system where you have very friendly users. The business that or the users are friendly and they can support you better in your change process. If you are able to make the transition successful for those set of users, then they will become your champion and they will advocate further in the organization as to how the change has helped. So find a small system where users are friendly and start with them. So these are the two things I could think of. But definitely that's a good question, and that's the challenge we all have in doing so, especially when we have a business which has been operating for long. It has a lot of records. Records have to be ported, migrated to new system, etc.
Thank you. John is asking, I have understood the concept of systems for a while now. However, my difficulty is developing systems from scratch. How do we start and how do we actually develop systems?
Sure. No, that's a good question as well. As I had mentioned in the one of the previous slides. So here, concept to launch, right? I think I just passed it. So concept to launch, we have to be very clear about what we are developing. What happens many times is we are not clear. It's not the technology problem, it's a business requirements problem many times. Uh, business requirements are not defined. We don't know, we haven't fully articulated the product or the services. We have only some vague idea of what we want, and then we start building the system. My suggestion would be not to focus on system, focus on the product first, and then, or the system for developing the product. I would say concept to launch itself is a system. So if we focus on this particular system, this will produce you a very solid product or service with well-defined features, which makes it much easier to develop the subsequent systems.
Thank you. A question comes from Gregory. Scaling those systems, how is it done overall? Each area prior, I'm sure, would have specific activity, but is there an overall approach that applies?
Yes. So system thinking itself is a process. That itself is a process. Once we get into systems thinking, any problem can be solved, because system thinking is nothing but following a process, doing things systematically. So yeah, I have broken down the business into different systems. Take any systems, it will have the same pattern to same pattern to approach the problem, the same method to approach the problem. You first define the problem, define the timeline, define the budget, identify the people, uh, task those people with their roles and responsibilities, and take them through the journey. This method is true for any system that you want to develop. So as I answered in one of the previous questions, that very good project management and governance is required to orchestrate um, not only executing the system, but also developing system. So hope this blueprint, my goal for this presentation was to lay out the blueprint, and which could tell people where they stand, what part of this business function, overall business organization they are working on, whether they are developing a product, whether they are trying to generate leads, whether they are trying to convert leads to cash, or they are trying to do something with the employees or the financial systems. So once they identify which part of the business they are impacting, it becomes easier.
Thank you. Michael is writing. So I'm looking to start a subscription box services, and I'm looking for a system that I can grow with. What would be your suggestion to someone who's starting up?
Sure. Yeah, this is a very typical problem. When we start a business, there are so many things. I would say focus on your client fulfillment. Client fulfillment, that's the ultimate, meaning, what you want to, how you plan to serve your customers. You have to define your offering very, very clearly. You have to have a very solid product definition. And once you have that nailed down, you can, it becomes easier for you to market. And to do that, this concept to launch, again, it goes back to concept to launch. You have to have a very good idea about what your product does and who your target customer is. Until unless we are very clear about the target customer and what business problem we are solving, it becomes difficult. So I would suggest focus on your product and service first, and then next would be lead generation. First products or service, and then the lead generation.
Thank you. Sandra is asking, Sudhakar, do you think Asana is a good project management system for a small business?
Yeah, I think so. I haven't used it myself. I have heard a lot. I use something else for my business, but I have heard Trello. I kind of use Trello because one of my vendors uses Trello, and so because of that reason, I have some, that's I have to be on their ecosystem, so I use Trello. So I like Trello. I haven't used Asana, but again, that's when I talked about our goal should be what we want to do with Asana, how it fits the big picture. Asana is just another shiny object, right? So I would say not to think in terms of tools. We can, Asana is a good project management tool. We can do, project management even on paper. But if we know why we are using it, what we want to use it for, then it doesn't matter. It's Asana or Trello or Microsoft Project or something else.
Thank you. Question comes from John. Would it be possible to show us a real life example, say a restaurant, on how systems are built or developed in the restaurant?
Yeah, I would. Yeah, that's a system for a restaurant, right? So that I would say that perhaps that would be advanced. I'm not sure in the scope of this presentation or not. So here I'll just give some brief opinion on this. Again, as I said, the restaurant business is very it's a very highly systematized business. You have to develop systems. Like for the best restaurant system is arguably McDonald's or Starbucks. You have to think in terms of systemizing every aspect of the restaurant business, starting from location. Location is very important, and then the target audience. Which target audience you are targeting? The college-going students or senior citizens or somewhere in between. So a lot of moving parts are there in a restaurant business to work on. So I'm not sure we could answer everything in this. If you have a specific question about this restaurant business, I can perhaps take an attempt.
Thank you. Next question comes from Aaron. In my prior experiences, larger companies use an ERP to create a skeleton for integration and data exchange, then hang specialized applications off the skeleton. The mainstream ERP typically did not have enough depth in functional capacity in any given area, but was good at tying disparate systems together. However, when you are the small startup, where do you begin? And can you identify some specific software products that meet the criteria that you have outlined?
Yes, again, a very good question. And that's the reason I made this presentation today, that now the ERP, which was the privilege of large companies and enterprises, is knocking the doors of small businesses now. Small businesses can take advantage of ERP-like software. There are many good software out there which has the capability from end to end. The entire business can be run on one single software. It's possible now. I wouldn't say entire, I'll qualify a little bit, but at least 90 to 95% of the business can be run on single platform, like enterprises do, some of the enterprises do on ERP platforms. So yes, there are, what are the good ones? I would say, I could think of only Zoho at this moment, which I kind of recommend. If you want more information, feel free to drop a note, but to my email address. But they are under works, they are under development. I would say Microsoft Dynamics has a lot of features, but again, that becomes expensive, out of reach of small businesses. But there are some Zoho is my favorite. And if you want, drop a note, I will kind of guide you further on that. And one more I could think of is Freshworks. I haven't used that. Freshworks is one. They have a lot of systems integrated in one platform.
Thank you. Question from Karen. Karen says, thank you for your insights and guidance. Does your practice build systems that use third-party integrations or engineer custom solutions? If you do build systems around, say, existing CRMS, what is an example of a business that you've worked with that you structured in a more effective way using a shiny object or existing tool?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we have to integrate all the time. It doesn't mean one system can replace all. It boils down to what our strategy is. Our systems integrate with other shiny objects. Yes, it has to. Without that, we cannot live in this in a ecosystem. Otherwise, it will become a very closed system. So, for example, if a particular platform has all the capability, but if it has to, integrate with other, say, unified communication tools like Zoom, it has to be able to do it. It has to, integrate with Zoom. Even if my platform has project management capability, if it has to integrate with Asana, it has to integrate with Asana. So there are ways to do that through microservices or hookups or webhooks or things like that. So yes, if I got the question right, my answer is yes, it's possible, and we do it.
Thank you. Next question comes from Dorian. Every business has 3 levels for operation: strategic, tactical, and operational. How do I best identify and incentive someone on the come aboard and execute strategic goals to grow my business without having to conduct oversight or micromanagement?
Okay, so if I understood correctly, I would say the question is about strategic, operational, and tactical activities, and the owner or the business head does not want to pay oversight all the time. So that's why we have automation. Automation is the key. We have to identify processes and automate it. We have to create workflows. Workflows for a trigger event for the workflow will take different people through the process automatically, depending on how the workflow has been designed. So we need a trigger, we need a approval authority, we need a tactical executioner of the workflow. All those could be built in, and the tasks would get created and emails would go out as a particular activity happens in activity progresses in the workflow. So yeah, so automation and very good definition of the workflow is the answer.
Thank you. These were all the questions. If anyone has questions, please write them down in the chat box so we can address them. And for those who are interested in starting on or growing their business, please visit chicago.score.org and submit a mentoring request. You will be assigned a to work with. Thank you so much, Sudhakar, for this wonderful webinar, and thank you everyone for joining us. And back to you, Hannah.
Thank you, Toma.
Thank you so much, Toma. And Sudhakar, once a small business owner, identifies the issue, plans a process, and decides, what to systemize, how do they go ahead and test to see if a plan or the system works well after execution? Can you go ahead and give us a little bit of tips in regards to that?
Sure. Sure, Hannah. I think that's the ultimate test is whether the business is growing or not. You do whatever you want, but if business does not bring money, which does not bring customers, there's no point of having the process or the system in place. So yeah, that's the ultimate test. But we can, there are many lower level tests to see whether it's working or not. For example, if we implement marketing to lead generation system, we will know whether it's working or not, depending on whether it's producing leads or not. So that's the beauty of dividing a business into smaller subsystems. Every subsystem has a unique outcome. Here, marketing to lead system has to generate leads. Lead to opportunity has to generate opportunity, which is perhaps which will potentially convert into an order. Issue to resolve system has to resolve the system, so and improve customer satisfaction. So every system has a outcome, either problem resolution, lead generation, or order conversion, lead conversion. So these are the intermediate checks and self-contained systems that produce self-contained systems produce the results, if we think in terms of systems and implement the systems.
Thank you, Sudhakar. And Sudhakar, a small business owner can pretty much systemize almost every single process in business, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So how do you prioritize it, and what's the best way to do that? I've heard different tips where you pretty much keep a diary of all the different processes. For example, how you go ahead and do client intake. Can you go ahead and walk us through the best way to actually come up with a system right from the beginning?
Yes, sure. So I would, now once we have defined the systems, every system will have its own tasks and artifacts. For example, here I would say marketing I kind of detailed out. We have different elements in marketing, like we have to be very clear about our offering. We have to know about customer avatar and marketing message, marketing channels, and all these have to be integrated via automation. Now, what marketing assets do we have? The lead magnets, email templates, flyers, videos, and then the process that orchestrate all these elements and assets. So you have to build funnel, build authority, nurture leads, call to action, adjust and rinse and repeat, all this. So now, how often do we want to do it? Is it, do we want to do them daily or weekly or monthly? And that decision creates tasks for you. Then those tasks you plot on your project management tool and follow it daily, weekly, monthly, or quarterly, depending on how you want to do it. So once we start thinking the systems thinking way, we'll create systems that itself drives your tasks for your project management tool. And having a project management tool like Asana or something else helps a lot. And then it's meaningful to have those shiny objects.
Fantastic. And thank you so much. I'm so glad also that you mentioned post sales and also follow up, right? Because, what they say is the money is in the follow up, and it really takes a lot of interactions, whether it be automation or, face to face and phone calls to actually get the sale. But once you get that sale, it's also important to really have the follow up to not only keep, a loyal customer, but possibly get more referrals.
Absolutely, Hannah, I cannot agree more. Without every aspect of a business can be systematized. It's post sales that itself. You want to play golf with the customer, that should be part of your system, very well explicitly defined. It shouldn't be random. That everything could be part of your overall business strategy and business plan.
Fantastic. Well, Sudhakar, thank you so much for sharing your expertise and time with us. Always appreciate you.
Thank you, Hannah. The pleasure is mine.
Thank you so much. And Toma, I always appreciate the teamwork and for you fielding the questions and also making sure that everything goes smoothly. And to those of you who joined in today, remember you're not alone. SCORE is here to support you. So please stay connected with us. Keep attending these webinars and schedule that appointment with our mentors. The mentoring sessions are always free and they're confidential and can be scheduled from our website at chicago.score.org. Again, thank you for joining in. Hope to connect with all of you again and stay safe and well, everyone. Bye for now.
Thanks all.
Bye.
Bye.